Hey everybody, welcome to Rust Revival Garage. Today I want to check on something, and it's the charging system in my Chevy C10. The reason why I wanted to check it because I got a gauge on the dash and it's reading right at 13. Pretty much know you want to be between 13.6 and 14.6, and if it's dead on at 13, I may have a problem. Battery that I've got in this truck is a little old. It actually came with the truck, but it held a charge, and once the engine got put in, the original battery went back in. But I just want to make sure I don't have a problem, because if it actually is the true measurement of the volts in the engine and going up to the dash, that's a bad thing because 13 is a little too low. So I need to figure out if it's the gauge or if it's the actual battery and alternator, basically the charging system. Because it's not like anybody's ever bought a brand new alternator and just out of the box it didn't work. And so same thing can happen with a starter. You can buy a brand new starter, it may not work. So I wanted to kind of check things out. This actually is a Blueprint engine, and it's the complete Blueprint engine system. It came with the entire package, the power steering, the alternator, even the air conditioning compressor. So it was all one complete unit. And there's a chance that maybe the alternator is not good. It came with it and we don't know if it's good or not. So I kind of wanted to check things out, make sure everything's in real working order and it's not my gauges. How do we do that? We're actually going to use one of these. And I hate this thing. If you take a look at it, I'm not sure if that's in focus or coming in well at all, but it's literally all Greek to me. So yeah, I don't know for sure how to read this thing, but let's see if we can figure it out together. I'm terrible at electrical, I'm terrible at wiring. Every time I see wires, I just turn and walk away. I'm starting to try to figure it out, and hopefully I can use this to figure out what's going on. So, all right, let's get to it. So the engine is off. I believe the V maybe is volts, maybe it's amps. I have no idea. But there's a 20 over there, and that's the most credible looking number on this gauge, the 20. So hopefully that'll be close to what I need. Let's get it on the negative. Let's get it on. And it came off the negative. Alright, hopefully I can stretch this over there. And right now we're at 12.51. 12.51 when the engine is off is actually pretty good. Anything below 12 and you might have some problems, I believe. But right now, looking pretty strong, 12.51 without the engine running. Let's go ahead and test it with the engine running. Should go up to hopefully somewhere between 13.6 and 14.6. If we're in that range, then we know that the alternator is okay, that it's charging. Here's where we're at right now. This is the volt gauge on the truck, and as you can see, it's actually a little bit below 13. That's with the engine running, with the electric fans on, and we are below 13. However, when we look at, let's go check the gauge to make sure that it's giving us the same reading. With the engine on, it's at about 13.6, so we're okay. The reason why I know that we're okay is because the fan actually drove this around a little bit, had to go get some gas. So the engine is a little warm, and right now the electric fans are on. Both of the fans are running, so that's actually got a bit of a draw. When I started it up without the engine being warm, fans were off, and I was at 14.6. Right now it's 13.63. So the fans are pretty much taking a bit of a draw, but we are doing okay. So I don't have a problem with the alternator. The battery's okay. The wires in between seem like they're doing okay. Maybe a new battery in the future is due, but for right now we're doing all right. So we pretty much have figured out that this gauge is not accurate. It's close. I mean, it's showing a little bit below 13 we're actually on the other side of 13. So I know for sure now that that gauge cannot be trusted, and that's an issue, because if I do have a problem, I want to know about it, and I'm not going to know for sure if it's this gauge or not. And so, yeah, the other problems that I'm having on this, the temperature gauge does not work at all. This truck has been running for a while. Went out, got gas, came back, and I should still have a reading up here that should be up into the 200s. When you've got a brand new engine, the last thing you want to do is not know what your engine temperature is, because when you have a problem and it overheats, I'm not going to know until I see signs outside. However, gauges can't all be trusted. We know that, especially in a 38-year-old truck. But the one thing that I am most impressed by with this gauge is the clock. It's almost 40 years old and it still keeps accurate time. It is perfect. It's even when it just sits and sits and sits for a long time, that clock still works, and I love that. So what are we going to do? I think we need to go to some aftermarket gauges. So now we know that we can't trust our gauges. It happens. The gauges, like I said, this is a truck from 1985 and everything in there's original. Still amazed by the clock that still works. But I think what we need to do is put in a set of aftermarket gauges. I do have a set laying around that I may be able to use, but I think we just need to make sure we're getting accurate readings. I thought I was getting good oil pressure readings, and I thought I was getting good battery readings, and I'm not. And I kind of proved that today in the video. So maybe the oil pressure is wrong too, and the only thing that does work is the clock. So yeah, let's that'll be coming up probably the next time around with this truck. I'm going to be installing these gauges, and we'll go through that to see how that's done. Hopefully I can figure it out. The oil pressure is a little scary for me. Never done that. But the sending unit that's in the block is actually used to turn on the electric fans. And so I have a feeling that maybe the water temp was not hooked up correctly, or I can take advantage of the port that's in the top of the manifold to do the water temp, and then I can also run the line for the battery. Oil pressure, maybe I'll leave that alone. I don't know, we'll see. But if you can, subscribe to the channel. Got a lot coming up on the C10. Going to be doing the interior. Got a lot of rust to take care of. Got to take a look at the rear brakes on this. Going to be doing lots of upgrades to this truck. I need to completely rebuild these doors. I've got to put in new power windows, the locks. I've got to basically update everything. So subscribe if you can. I'd really appreciate it. And if you got anything out of the video, please like. If you want, leave a comment if I got anything wrong, if I missed anything, or if you have any questions. Hopefully I can answer it or somebody can help out. But yeah, thanks very much for tuning in. Have a good one.